Yo guys, what up? Nick Browen here. Today I'm giving you another top 5 things in Rwby. This time, however, it's going to be top 5 best things in Rwby Vol.5 because despite what people are saying, Rwby Vol.5 is not the worst volume. Personally, to me, it is Volume 2. That being said, there were good things in Volume 5, and I think the good things outweigh the bad. Not by a landslide, but I do think they do kind of outweigh the bad things. That being said, about a month ago, as I just stated, I don't think I stated it, but about a month ago, I made a video called Top 5 Worst Things That Happened in Volume 5. That being said, as I just stated, I'm making the top 5 best things in Volume 5 this time around. So, yeah, that being said, you guys, let's get into this shit. The best things in Rwby Volume 5. Number 5, Blake's character arc coming to a close. In Rwby Volume 4, we had, the character arcs between Weiss, Yang, and Blake. And Blake's carried over to Volume 5. And considering Blake is my favorite character on Team Rwby, I was really thrilled that I got to see more of her character arc and more of her development and growth. A lot of people don't like Blake, but me personally, I always have, so I was happy to get more Blake. The reason why this is at the lowest point of the totem pole is for one very big reason. Because a lot of people were sick and tired of Blake's character arc, the fact that it carried over. I wasn't one of those people, but because I understand people's complaints about it, it's like, fine. It is what it is. Plus, I don't think it was, while I think it was a great, character arc, I think there were other scenes and other moments and other scenarios that just pretty much dominated, the entirety of this character arc in this volume. What can I really say, dude? The duality between Blake and Ilya, I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed how Blake handled Ilya and how Rooster Teeth handled Blake handling Ilya. I really enjoyed it. The duality of the light and the dark, the two mentalities of fighting for peace and love with peace and love means, and then extremist means. It's like, dude, it's classic. It's not anything new or original, but it's a classic, and I think Rooster Teeth handled it pretty damn well. Plus, unlike the Battle of Haven, the climax at the Belladonna household actually paid off rather well. The fight between Ilya and Blake was really great. Granted, since Volume 4, the fights have not had that Monty flair, but the fights have still been pretty fucking dope. So it's like, the climax there was awesome. Plus, you just had amazing speeches, you had amazing moments in this arc, Gira giving some awesome speeches, and then Blake finally telling the Faunus, like, you gotta stand up, you gotta go against Adam, or Adam will set the example of what the Faunus are like. And it's a really inspiring story of, standing up to an extremist to clear your species' name. It's really awesome and really cool, and I really enjoyed it, it's freaking amazing. Blake has finally matured, and has accepted that she needs help every once in a while. Not everything can be handled on her own, and it's amazing. I love it. So number 5 is the end of Blake's character arc. I think it was ended well, and I think it was amazing beyond belief. Number 4, the amazing fights that took place this volume. And hear me out here, because despite what people are saying, there were some good fights. Primarily 3. The Yang versus the Bandits. There were some unnecessary lines of dialogue. I will admit, unnecessary lines of dialogue. But the choreography was great, and it was all around cool because you got to see Yang. Fuck. Where's my train? Lost my train of thought. Fuck. You saw Yang switch up her fighting style. Usually she was like a boxer, the boxing type or whatever. I can't box for shit, so ignore this. Usually her fighting style was very boxer-esque. Now it's kind of like a martial arts kind of style, which I enjoyed. And amidst other things, that part of the game did change, which I respect. You know, it was really awesome and really cool. The fight between Blake and Ilya, as previously mentioned, the emotional tension was there, and the tension all around. It was amazing. It was a great climax. Not as well choreographed. You know, in the beginning, I actually kind of think it was pretty well done. There was this one freaking shot that was, you know, really awesome and really cool, and I really like that shot, dude. Yeah. But the primary thing about this fight and why it was so amazing is because while it was decently choreographed, it was the emotion there, dude. It was what the fight represented, dude. It was awesome. A fight between two friends turned enemy, turned friends again. It was awesome and really cool. The emotion and the tension was there. It was amazing. And then the fight between Raven and Cinder. Hardcore foreshadowing for another place on this list. The fight between Raven and Cinder was overblown, but it is justified. The maidens are magic. Okay? They are OP as demonstrated in Volume 3, Chapter 7. They are OP. They control all the fucking elements. So, like, people were shocked that, like, Cinder used ice. And I'm like, really? You're that shocked? Because, you know, what's-her-face, Amber, showed that she can use all the elements. I mean, she used fire, she used wind, she used ice, she used all of them. So it's like, come on, dude, how are you that shocked? But getting back on track, it's like, the fight was ridiculously blown out of proportion in a good way, in an enjoyable way. They are two OP characters because they are the maidens. On top of that, naturally speaking, they are just great fighters, dude. I mean, it's amazing how this fight was animated. It was awesome, dude. So, the fact that these two were OP to begin with, the beautiful animation, on top of that, the choreograph in the very beginning of the fight, and the choreograph when they're like falling down on the rocks, I think was amazing, dude. And then that whole thing with like, when like Raven and Cinder were doing like variations of like the fucking royal thing. I don't remember what it's called, but like from like Final Fantasy 15, it was freaking awesome, dude. It was rad as hell. It was overblown. It was epic. Two maidens duking it out. It was mind blowing, and I enjoyed that so much. So, well, yes, some fights were hyped up and teased. They were lackluster, however. But these three fights, the Blake versus Ilya, Yang versus the Bandits, and Raven versus Cinder, those were the fights that were amazing and awesome, dude. Seriously. Number 3. Ruby Rose addressing the events of Volume 3 to Oscar. Dude, this scene caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that shit, dude. So pretty much Oscar kind of goes on this little justifiable outburst. I mean, the kid was dragged into something he didn't want to be a part in to begin with. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. This is all new to him, and you know he has like a cursed man living inside him. So I believe his outburst was justified, and that prompted Ruby to tell Oscar, like, we lost people at Beacon, dude. I lost Pira Nikos and I lost Penny Polendina. Two of people I didn't know very well, but they were selfless and amazing, nice people. Like, Ruby pretty much just goes on this little, I guess she's just kind of talking to Oscar, telling him, like, why she fights and whatnot. Like, this just, you know, proves to me why I personally think Ruby, while isn't the best protagonist, is a good protagonist. And many people debate that Ruby Rose is not a good protagonist. Me, I think she's a good one. You know, you don't need a grand reason to be a good protagonist. And this scene just demonstrates to me why I like her. You know, she addresses the issues in Volume 3. telling Oscar that, that the pain of losing Pyrrha and Penny still is, within Rwby, just, and it's honestly adds some depth of character that many believed Rwby was lacking, And this also proves that she's matured a bit too. I mean, you can't completely deny Rwby of her personality, She's just a quirky girl, You can't deny that from her. So when people make the argument that she's still, immature and whatnot, she still needs to retain her personality, my dudes. But, hearing her kind of, like, very sadly and emotionally just tell Oscar that she lost these two people, and how Salem doesn't care what happens to the rest of the world, and how, like, everything around her kind of crumbled down at this one point. It's just really emotional and really, hits you right here. It's really amazing, and it adds character depth to her. And you gotta tip the hat to frickin' the screenwriters and Lindsay Jones for the performance. But you guys, especially to like the writers, because they put in that little Monty tribute, the whole keep moving thing. Right here, dude. Right here, hit me. And it was amazing. It was emotional and a moving scene. Props to Lindsay Jones as Ruby Rose. It was amazing. What can I say? I personally think it was one of the highlights. Number 2. Weiss chatting with Yang. If there was ever a respectable way for me to say everything I hated about Yang, Weiss said it all in merely a couple of minutes. Oh my god, like again, another emotional and moving scene. It was amazing, truly. Everything I said about Yang that I hated, like how she was being selfish and how she was only thinking about herself, how she was projecting her feelings onto Blake. It was all wrapped up in this one respectable and spectacular way by Weiss. Respectfully telling Yang, why do you think Blake left, She put these walls up and she kept, her life a secret from us. And when she finally put those walls down and opened up to all of us, the one thing she was afraid of actually happened. And how can you deal with that? Like, Blake needed to deal with that in her own way, so that's why she left. She was telling Yang Weiss was telling Yang all of this in the most beautiful way, man, in the most respectable way. It mirrors the Blake and Yang scene from Volume 2, which is a scene that many people think is one of the best in Volume 2. Me personally, it's on and off. But this scene between Weiss and Yang I really enjoyed because it also ramped up why I like Weiss so much now, and just proves how much Weiss has grown. But it also just pretty much tells Blake to her face everything that I don't like about Yang in this volume. So I mean, it was really cool, really emotional, really inspiring, and it gives further proof as to why many people like Weiss as they do. It's really awesome. It was really emotional, really inspiring. What can I really say? That's really about it. Before we get to the number 1 spots, I know I didn't do these in the top 5 worst things of Volume 5. However, I do want to go over some brief honorable mentions that I won't go into detail for. I'll just tell you the scenes. That being said, here they are. The honorable mentions of the top 5 good things in Volume 5. Shit. Ilya's character development with Blake. Learning more about Osmond's past. Oscar as a character. Adam cutting down Sienna Khan. And the final honorable mention, Team Rwby reunited. Okay, you guys, here is the #1 best thing of Rwby Volume 5. I repeat, the number one best thing in Rwby Volume 5. Raven, Browin, and everything she stands for in every scene that she's in. Just yes. Yes on all accounts. Raven Browin has been hyped up since Volume 2. When she rescued Yang, and that little dream sequence thing that happened still hasn't been explained. But my point being, she's been hyped up ever since Volume 2. Then briefly mentioned in Volume 3, Chapter 8. Then she appears in Volume 4. And then she plays a significant role in Volume 5. Dude, every scene that she's in, whether she's talking down to people, whether she's dropping, fucking truth bombs on Cinder's crew, whether she reveals to be the Spring Maiden, whether she's emotional towards Yang, or whatever the scene may be, every scene she's in, she was always the star. The scene when she was talking with Yang, the scene where she was talking with Yang and Weiss, throwing shade towards Ozpin and everything that he stands for. The scene where she drops truth bombs on Cinder and her crew. The scene where she tells Lionheart, you're surviving. You're doing what you have to survive. Even though, Leo kind of makes a good point to Raven, telling her, who she's trying to prove that to. Or the scene where she, just fucking tells the audience that she is the motherfucking Spring Maiden and it ain't Vernal. It's freaking amazing. The fight scene she had with Cinder, the talk she had with Yang, how she can go from, a bit offended and triggered and dominating to emotional. It's amazing. Plus Anna, I think her name's Ann Hans or Anna Hullum, something like that. Apologies if I got your name wrong. Ann Hullum's voice portrayal for Yang. Fucking fantastic. Amazing. Emotional. Commanding. Awesome. Freaking awesome, my dudes. It's amazing. Seriously. She's well animated, and you just tell me that there wasn't another star character that wasn't Raven. This volume, Raven was the star. This volume, Raven was the MVP. This volume, Raven was the best thing in Volume 5. Truly. And that may be biased, but hey, whoever said I think objectively, I think she was by far the best thing Volume 5 had to offer. From the atmosphere, from her presence, everything about her was fucking amazing. So guys, that was my top 5 best things to happen in Rwby Volume 5. Again, this was not objective. I'm personally speaking, these are the things that I thought really made this volume great. Again, I think Volume 2 is the worst volume, and excuse me. Yeah, man. Volume 5 I don't think is the worst. For me personally, number 1, the first place is obviously Volume 3. Volume 4 and 5 are like equal to me. So they're like in the second place. Then it's Volume 1 and 3rd. And then it's Volume 2. Like those are like my ranking of my favorite volumes in order. So yeah, man. If you disagree with me, by all means, write it in the comments down below. I don't mind at all. Want to know your thoughts. What do you think? Rwby Volume 5 is on par with Volume 4, or how does it live up to anything that happened before Volume 4? Because I know Volumes 1, 2, and 3 like everybody loves. But yeah, like what's your opinion on Rwby Vol.5? What did you like? What did you dislike? Tell me in the comments down below. Because again, for me, I personally enjoyed Volume 5. Even if certain things did get butchered, there was still enough there for me to enjoy and really like. That being said, you guys, if you like this video, rate it 1 through 10, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that fun crap. And as always, this is your boy, Nick Browen, out with the yang.